It is often effortless to grab a mobile device and spend hours scrolling through social media feeds, watching short videos, playing video games, or binge-watching favorite streaming shows. But what about engaging in physical activity, studying, building a business, or reading? Clearly, some tasks are far easier to engage with than others. Yet it is precisely those challenging tasks that deliver the most significant long-term benefits. Think of it like food. The healthier options often require more effort to prepare or consume, but they provide greater advantages for well-being. Sometimes frustration sets in, because even when knowing certain activities are most beneficial and crucial for achieving goals, they remain undone. On the other hand, some individuals possess an inherent ease in applying their discipline and willpower to consistently tackle these difficult tasks. Consider an elite athlete who prioritizes countless hours of training and skill refinement over passively viewing content online. Or the entrepreneur who sacrifices social outings and parties, dedicating time to building a venture, ultimately leading to a life of their dreams. There is good news. The key to approaching work with the same intensity and ease as these successful individuals can be revealed. What truly distinguishes a high achiever is the ability to sacrifice an immediate, small, short-term reward for a much greater, long-term reward that requires effort. This is not mere coincidence. It is scientifically supported. A well-known psychological experiment explored delayed gratification. Researchers offered children two options. They could take one treat immediately or wait 15 minutes and receive two. After observing the children alone, their behavior was analyzed. Following these subjects for 40 years, it was found that those who managed to wait for the two treats achieved significantly greater success across various aspects of their lives. Like successful individuals, people constantly face these two options, choosing between instant, short-term gratification that requires no effort but yields little, or long-term gratification that demands effort but promises much larger rewards. Naturally, one might argue that the period of sacrifice for those small, immediate pleasures must have made these individuals unhappy, suggesting that success and happiness are incompatible. However, the true insight lies in understanding the opposite. Those who master the art of postponing immediate pleasure from less productive activities often discover that they experience profound satisfaction and even joy from engaging in challenging, effortful tasks that offer substantial long-term rewards. The question then becomes, how is this achieved? It involves understanding and effectively managing what could be called the brain's natural reward system. This discussion will delve into two main aspects. First, understanding the fundamental role dopamine plays within the brain system. Dopamine should not be underestimated. It is often responsible for periods of unproductivity, difficulty focusing on work, and the inability to achieve life goals. Second, we will explore an experiment involving radical dopamine restriction over 7 days. During this period, all activities typically providing instant gratification were removed from the daily routine and replaced with difficult or effortful tasks. The reasons behind this experiment and the surprising results can be incredibly valuable. Understanding this mechanism can profoundly impact 3 areas: one's approach to work, the pleasure experienced while working, and ultimately, one's future. Indeed, understanding the natural dependence on dopamine and learning to manipulate it to one's advantage can lead to greater success with more ease than many others, and even allow for a more intense enjoyment of the effortful path success requires. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter released in the brain each time a reward from an activity is anticipated. Higher levels of dopamine are released when engaging in activities that feel good, teaching the brain that these are the preferred actions. For instance, dopamine levels may increase when thinking about consuming less healthy food, as the anticipation of that reward is often greater than when considering vegetables. This cycle of desire, action, and reward fundamentally shapes habits. Activities like excessive social media use, certain types of food, and other personal pleasure-seeking activities can trigger enormous amounts of dopamine in very short intervals. This can lead to a reliance on this constant dopamine release and immediate gratification. Dopamine, therefore, plays a critical role in establishing preferences for certain activities over others. The brain does not evaluate whether an activity will be beneficial long-term. It simply identifies activities that will yield the highest dopamine release and prioritizes them. While this might seem like a negative aspect, what many do not realize is that this natural mechanism can be manipulated to work in one's favor. This is where the practical application of an experiment comes into play. During periods of widespread confinement, many experienced disruptions to their established routines. This often led to an unconscious shift towards seeking immediate rewards, particularly through food, due to proximity and easy access. The quick satisfaction from a snack could sometimes interrupt deep work or reduce motivation for tasks that required more sustained effort. Without the usual external routines, the preparation of meals might become less varied, leading to further reliance on easily accessible, highly palatable options. To address these patterns, an experiment was undertaken to radically reset the brain's dopamine reward configuration. The goal was to identify activities that provided an immediate dopamine hit and eliminate them completely from the daily
schedule. The list of activities eliminated included, firstly, certain highly anticipated drinks and treats, even those without added sugar, as they still provide a significant reward. Secondly, phone usage was severely restricted throughout the day, with minimal exceptions for essential communication. Thirdly, all forms of social media were strictly avoided. These platforms are deliberately designed to constantly trigger dopamine release and foster addiction. Fourthly, certain personal activities that provide intense, immediate pleasure were removed. While natural and potentially beneficial, their high dopamine release was deemed counterproductive for the experiment's goal. Podcasts and cold showers were used as replacements during exercise or self-care routines. Fifthly, skipping a highly anticipated morning meal was included. A 16-hour fasting window was adopted, postponing the first meal of the day to midday, as the morning meal was considered a significant source of immediate dopamine. Some might view this list as restrictive, and the activities themselves not inherently harmful. This is often true for individuals already maintaining a generally healthy lifestyle.
Aim is not to demonize these activities, but to target their immediate dopamine-releasing effect. For those with more toxic habits, it is recommended to identify those activities on a potentially longer list and eliminate them progressively, rather than abruptly, to mitigate psychological impact. The curious and truly transformative aspect of this experiment is that when activities that cause the brain to secrete large amounts of dopamine are eliminated, the brain does not stop producing dopamine. Instead, it reconfigures and redirects that dopamine release towards other activities. This means that engaging in tasks like reading or working will begin to trigger dopamine release as they become the primary means for the brain to obtain it. The brain will even develop a desire for physical activity, as it becomes one of the main avenues for receiving daily dopamine doses. The initial day of this experiment can be challenging, often more difficult than anticipated. There might be a delay in starting the day, perhaps due to the absence of usual morning rewards. The day can feel dull and apathetic, with a strange sense that nothing provides pleasure or enjoyment. However, despite
this, productivity levels can soar because there are fewer distractions. A significant positive effect can be noticed almost immediately, such as an intense craving for physical exercise. While temptations are plentiful, resistance is key. From the second day onward, adaptation typically becomes much easier. The results obtained can be truly surprising. Beyond the expected outcomes, unforeseen benefits often emerge. Productivity levels can skyrocket in unprecedented ways. With fewer distracting tasks, the empty time naturally gets filled with more work. For example, by simply replacing 15-minute mobile phone breaks between deep work sessions with 15 minutes of reading, the amount of material consumed can double. Without distractions, deep work sessions become significantly more focused and of higher quality. Entering a state of flow where awareness of surroundings fades and concentration on the task intensifies becomes much more achievable. A profound sense of lightness and mental clarity can be experienced, likely due to drastically reduced mobile interaction. Crucially, all available time can be invested in truly important and fundamental tasks, leading to an immense sense of personal accomplishment. Furthermore, this can often be accompanied by an increase in the frequency and quality of new ideas, indicating a significant boost in creativity. This experiment is highly recommended. It not only achieves the goal of breaking unhelpful work patterns and habits acquired during times of confinement, but also cultivates profound mental clarity, a sense of lightness, improved mental well-being, and a renewed passion for work. The motivation to begin working immediately upon waking can become far more intense than usual. Many of these beneficial habits are worth integrating permanently into one's routine, though it is worth noting that after the experiment, a craving for certain enjoyable treats and a satisfying morning meal with coffee might
return.